Born in 1769 on the island of Corsica, Napoleon Bonaparte was an outsider. He was a scholarship student in France who spoke with a heavy accent and was mocked by the wealthy elite. But the revolution of 1789 shattered the old world. While the kings of Europe relied on ancient bloodlines, Napoleon relied on pure genius. By the age of 24, after his victory at the siege of Toulon in 1793, he became a brigadier general. He proved that in the modern era, it didn't matter who your father was. It only mattered what you could achieve on the field of glory. Between 1805 and 1807, Napoleon performed miracles. On December 2, 1805, at the Battle of Austerlitz, he faced the combined numbers of the Russian and Austrian empires. In a masterclass of military deception, he feigned weakness, lured his enemies into a trap, and shattered their coalition in a single day. By October 1806, after crushing the Prussian army at Jena, he marched through the Brandenburg Gate in Berlin. He wasn't just a conqueror, he was the lightning bolt of the Enlightenment, striking down the decaying monarchies of the past. Napoleon's greatest victory was won with a pen. On March 21, 1804, he signed the Napoleonic Code into law. Before this, France had over 300 conflicting legal systems. Napoleon replaced them with one law for every citizen. He guaranteed religious freedom, protected property rights, and ended feudalism. This code became the legal foundation for over 40 nations today. He turned a chaotic revolution into a stable, modern state, proving that true power comes from justice and order. In May 1806, Napoleon took a revolutionary step. He summoned the Grand Sanhedrin in Paris. For the first time since the Roman Empire, a European leader granted full civil and political rights to the Jewish people. Everywhere his Grande Armée marched, the walls of the ghettos were torn down. He declared that all men were brothers under the law, regardless of their faith. To the oppressed minorities of Europe, Napoleon wasn't an invader. He was a modern-day liberator. Napoleon's vision was carved into stone. In 1806, he ordered the construction of the Arc de Triomphe. He founded the Banque de France, modernized education with the Lycée, and standardized weights and measures. He abolished the Holy Roman Empire and replaced it with the Confederation of the Rhine. He transformed Paris into the new Rome, a beacon of science and art. He knew that while empires might fall, the institutions he built would endure for centuries. But the sun of Austerlitz was soon swallowed by the Russian winter. In 1812, Napoleon led his Grande Armée, the largest force Europe had ever seen, into the heart of Russia. He conquered Moscow, but he found only a ghost city, stripped of food and set ablaze by its own people. As the first snowflakes fell, the nightmare began. The retreat from Moscow became a march of death. Hunger, exhaustion, and the brutal Cossack raids turned the world's greatest army into a trail of frozen bodies in the snow. Napoleon's invincibility was shattered in the Russian ice, and the map of Europe began to tremble. Even after his defeat at Waterloo in 1815 and his death in exile on St. Helena in 1821, the world could never go back. The kings returned, but they could not pull the seeds of liberty from the soil. Napoleon Bonaparte forced a continent into the modern age. He was the man who proved that a commoner could become a king and that a single mind could change history forever. This is the truth of the liberator. But is it the only truth?